Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guests are here from the Northeast Kingdom Home Care. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. Sharon.
Well, I'm Sharon Campbell Byron, and I'm the Activities Director at the Meeting Place, which is on 2nd Street in Newport. And this is my colleague, Goldie.
I'm Goldie Buffy. I'm one of the caregivers there.
I'm Leah Kittredge. I'm one of the clients.
And I'm Terry Collins. I'm the General Manager and the Director of Home Care.
Well, thank you for coming on. And I was recently a guest speaker.
You were brilliant,
down at
yes.
one of your. Now that aspect of it was the day services, or what is it called?
That was the day services, where we have clients in from 7:30 in the morning until 4:30, and of course we go out into the community, but we also invite the community in. And you were good enough as the author to come in and distribute your Don McNally books, and so we love that. Thank you.
And you know what's I think you've been doing an outstanding job at the community outreach because I notice in the paper all the time you have all kinds of people going in to talk, and I think even the famed Todd Pronto, the producer of this show, even was one of your guests.
No, well, this is it, Scott. What Goldie and I were saying before we came in today is our clients, like Leah, they may have become ill through a variety of reasons, which causes them to slightly become disenfranchised from the community. But when people like you come in and we go out into the community, it helps Leah and our other clients remember that they're still valuable and they've got a lot to offer. So people like you are invaluable to us.
Now, Leah, what do you think about your time down at the?
When I first started, I thought, this isn't for me.
That's for old people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in your mind, you were.
I says, I gotta give it a try. And I've been there since June,
You have?
and I love every minute of it.
What do you like about it?
Just being around so many people and doing so many different things. They keep us busy all the time.
Now,
and
if-
we make crafts.
And then do you enjoy the different speakers who go in?
Oh, yes. I've learned a lot.
What would you be if you were not part of this program? What might you be doing with your time?
Sitting home twiddling my thumbs.
And this is a whole lot better than twiddling your thumbs.
It sure is.
And you probably you get to see people your age too.
Yes.
But it's also a diverse. I've also noticed. I
Young
guess
people.
I thought it was only older people, but there are some who are not so.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got a disability or what, but I enjoy being with the group.
Right. That building you have has quite the history as well. It used to be the Baptist church.
Yeah.
Then it was actually home to
An
engineering firm that actually made weapons of war.
Yes.
And so at one time, if I recall right, it was on the other side of the lake.
Yes.
It was pulled across by horses.
In the winter.
And put there.
Oh,
So your building comes with a whole lot of history.
I guess so.
So yeah, and it
That's
still
neat.
looks like a church inside too, pretty
Yes,
much.
it does.
And the great thing is, Terry knows it's been the meeting place since those early days when it was
Yes.
dragged across the ice in, was it 1856?
Yes.
I can't
It was-
remember dates.
It's in the 1850s. It was.
1850s. It's a great
That's
meeting place.
Do you ever have people drop by, or
Yes.
do any of your residents? Did they go there to church?
I have met people in the community in my travels who remember going there when they were children and being baptized there. And on the second floor, there still is a baptismal tub that's under the stage. And it's been there, I guess, from the very beginning.
So Leah, you're learning all kinds of.
I'm learning.
Now, where are you? Are you a Brownington person?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it because my wife's a Brownington person. Everybody from Brownington kind of. knows every,
everybody.
because
Yes.
these smaller communities, I find, are a lot more tight-knit. People know each other more than urban boys like me from Newport.
Yeah, big
Newport,
city.
now I live in the other urban center of Derby.
Well,
Uh,
the Newport, the meeting place, I've met people that I haven't seen for like 20, 30 years, and that's nice.
And Sharon, how does Leah ever act up there? Is she pretty?
She's firm and determined and knows what she likes and what she doesn't like. But there's so many different activities. There's always something for somebody. I think Leah would agree. We've just got so many different crafts, so many holistic games and things like that. And even a new game we've invented. Leah, do you remember the Dice Man? Where we throw the dice and
Yeah.
whichever number it comes up with, it relates to a question on the board. And that's pretty good. So no, Leah is perfect. She's the most ladylike, perfect person
And
to
you
have.
actually, and you have gourmet meals there.
We
You
do,
know.
Chef Eric Smith.
Yes.
Breakfast, lunch, snack in the afternoon.
So when does this run for? Like what time of day?
Terry, would you say 7:30 to?
People start arriving at 7:30, and the last people leave around 4:30. And they're also there on Saturdays from 9 until
Really?
3.
Now, if somebody wants to go but they don't want to stay the whole day, is that possible?
Yes, there is a 3-hour minimum,
Right.
just so that they don't come and miss what's going on. So within 3 hours, they'll probably have a meal. They'll probably be able to do 3 or 4 different activities.
So how long has this been going on for, this program?
This opened in 2004.
Right. So is it going pretty smoothly now?
We are booming right now.
Yes.
And we do have a aging population too. We have a huge group of people.
Well, our clients range from their 20s to their 90s,
Right.
and we keep them all. We have an RN 5 days a week. We have 3 caregivers during the week, and we are open until 4:30 unless a client needs extra. We would open earlier and stay later. It's according to their needs.
So you work with.
The meeting place, yes.
Right, okay. Now, I also have been seeing you folks out in the community. I think Walmart.
Yeah,
grand
the
opening,
groundbreaking.
Then as we record, you're looking forward to going to the ribbon cutting for the airport. Now, those are some things that people might think are just mundane things. Why is it important to go to these things?
No, I feel it's important for our clients to get out there with the VIPs and with the members of the public, so that as history is being made, a ribbon cutting, that first sod of soil, that's history being made, and we're part of it. And our clients have been there all along the way. We don't just do crafts and exercises or holistic stuff. We get out there in the community as events are happening. So we're right there. And in fact, Dan at the airport invited us. He said, we saw you all in the newspaper at the Walmart, and we actually want the meeting place up there at the airport. So we're just lucky. People like us. What can I say?
And the beauty of this now, we're trying, Sharon and I are going to be putting together a program for in-home caregivers to do activities with people who cannot get out of their homes, and possibly even bringing them to these group activities, where before they've been so isolated. And this will be a whole new era for home care.
I talk to a lot of, in my work as the publisher of the Northland Journal, I interview a lot of older people, and they will tell you that one of the things about getting older is the disconnect you start to feel because because you start losing your, as one guy once told me, you become a stranger in your own town if you allow yourself, because at one time you knew everybody, but then as your friends started to depart, either to the other side or just to move away, you start feeling like you don't know anybody. And everybody who tells me, anybody I talk to about age, and they said to really age to age happily, you've got to stay connected.
Yes.
You've got to look forward to something every day, whether
Yep.
it's work or a round of golf. You've just got to have something to look forward to.
A year ago, I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for the meeting place.
And what did you look forward to before the meeting place?
Going shopping,
Right.
Oh, that's it?
going
That's all you did?
with people.
Oh.
Yeah, I live with my daughter and granddaughter.
And how did you learn about the meeting place?
The area agency on aging.
Right.
They were my caregiver was I can't remember her name, but she called RCT and she called the meeting place and got it all set up, and before I knew it, I was there.
But when they introduced you to the concept, what was your first response?
I don't want to do
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
And why was that?
I have no idea. I was just so withdrawn,
Oh, see.
and now I'm the mouth, I say.
you sit there confident wearing
No,
diamonds.
depression is a real problem for,
Yeah.
It is.
as you age, and people don't even know it's happening to them.
Oh,
And
it can get you.
And it can affect your cognitive ability, and you think that you might be getting Alzheimer's or dementia, and it's not that at all. It's
Right.
just depression
Sure.
because of lack of socialization, and that's what.
Well, my doctor is so good, and I told her I was thinking Alzheimer's or
Oh
something.
no.
And so she did blood tests on me and everything, and there isn't any, she
You,
said.
but you
I'm okay.
Brownington folks are a tough breed of people.
We are.
You probably knew my father-in-law, John Curtis.
Yes.
John,
I knew your father better.
yeah, but John, he was from Brownington for decades, and he didn't even let his cancer get in the way in his final days.
No.
His even if he could just go just for a little, the boys would come throw him in the truck,
Yep.
and he'd teeter around the log yard because he
Wow.
needed,
He needed
he
something.
needed something, and
I
that's what he
needed
got.
something.
And he
Yeah.
even shot his last. As you know, they were big deer hunters. Shot his last deer
Yeah.
within weeks before he
Yeah.
passed away.
I know, I was so happy about that. You said him hanging in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
tree.
Yeah. So what else would you like to talk about?
Well, I know that one area which Goldie has just excelled in brilliantly, and she's very shy. She won't like me saying this, but Goldie's got brilliant links in the community, and it's thanks to Goldie's links with the VFW that the meeting place is being presented with 2 computers. And I don't know how Goldie pulled this off, but
Magic.
yeah,
It was
magic.
magic.
What happened?
So explain how you.
Well, because I've been friends with Roy and Betty Ellen for years, I was talking to them one day and was just talking about my job and how many people can say they love getting up in the morning going to work.
Not many. No.
You know, we're so diverse in everything we do. We do showers twice a week. We work there, we stimulate them, I don't know, it's just amazing. And anyway, I was talking to Roy because everything is done through RCT. This is how people are brought to us and taken home. And because we work for the community, he wanted to give back to the community, and this is how the whole thing
Wow.
fell into place.
That's so
Um,
nice.
We work closely with their PCPs, we work with the VNA, Human Services, Home First Quality Care, we schedule their appointments. It's USDA food program that we do. Eric is amazing. He
Meals are
serves great
great.
food. And I guess the other big thing is we do free passes for people who might find that they might need the care that we provide.
Right.
We do a free pass for one day. You call Jennifer Barnes, she is the director of the meeting place, at 334-7604, and her extension is 104. And she will set everything up for you. She is the heart of the meeting place. She's what keeps the blood pumping.
And as I said, I think like programs like yours are going to become even more important as the years progress.
Yes, but you got to have the right kind of staff.
Yeah.
Staff is key. You need the personalities, you need people who have compassion and excitement for what they do.
Yeah, because there's some jobs that you can do just to make money, just as in just to do to get by. But this isn't the type.
no.
This is one that you have to really love doing what you do. It's like you were saying that you love getting up in the morning. And we kind of actually do similar work in a way. I work with a lot of older people.
Yes.
And I sit down with them, I go to their homes, but I wake up every single morning, I can't wait
Yep.
to get, and actually, I sometimes drive my wife crazy because I'm so enthusiastic.
It's true.
And
Penny goes
she
mad.
just wants to have a cup of coffee, and then we'll talk about the enthusiasm.
Well, my family's thrilled that I'm going there. They
Right.
said that I've turned around 100%.
And funny, Leah's raised a really interesting point. We do, in the last couple of months, we've had many family members ring us up saying, what's happening down there is brilliant, it's really pioneering, and our relatives are loving it. And they come home at the end of the day with so much more to talk about, with your daughter, and they're able to make plans now and envisage themselves as larger parts of the community.
Right.
So when we get the VFW's computers at the end of this month, our clients will probably be the very first in within a 100-mile radius to be able to log on and make contact with care clients at other places in different countries like Sweden, which is one of the pioneering programs we're following. It's just brilliant. We're really interconnected and interlaced. I can't get over what's happening.
Do you have enough, I guess I can't remember the layout is, can you make your area dark if I were to bring down like 20 photos and use a projection?
Yeah.
People,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
with so much talk about Newport,
Yeah.
I have like 20, maybe 15, 20 slides that shows the evolution in Newport, but it wouldn't
Wow.
be for me. It would be because people, you know how much these old photos bring out
Yeah.
conversation.
Oh, yes.
Is 10 photos would probably take an hour to get
Of
to
course.
maybe only half of them, just because they bring out so many memories. And besides
I
that,
knew him and I knew her.
oh yeah, and,
That's
and,
it.
and for the people who are not from here, it's that serves as an educational tool, because I have thousands and thousands of photos, old photos on that I can put right up on the screen, and I think people would have a ball.
Absolutely would.
Going
So
through that.
we'll definitely make that possible for you. We can do it all dark. And the good thing about
Yeah,
what
I have
you're
a
gonna be-
projector.
You've got that. The good thing is, say you've got a photograph, it not only helps people remember and talk about things, but for our Alzheimer's and dementia care clients, it actually sparks off memories from when they were 6, 10,
Right.
20 and
Yes.
30. And when they get those memories back, it's Goldie was working with a care client called George. What happened when you were doing the autobiography lesson?
Oh, I was writing as he was telling me about his life as far back as he could remember, the first thought, and as we're going through, and he sat there and he had his head down, and he looked up and he goes, my grandmother had a glass vase that had a pig on it, and it was etched, and he looked at me, and his eyes just got huge, and he goes,
Shocking.
I hadn't even thought about that ever.
Oh,
So it was opening up,
Yes.
right? It was just opening that one little thing for him, which made him happy because he ran to Sharon and told her. But even though the meeting place has been there and the home care has been there for all these years, having Sharon getting us into the community and doing the reach out,
yes.
as much as we would try, it just wasn't. It just wasn't enough. I'm not gonna say it wasn't enough, because we take him to the Barton Fair.
Yeah.
But that,
And yard
But
sales and the
she
museum.
definitely has the right connections to get us in the right places, so people, will look at me and go, oh, you work at the meeting place.
And I think that's all. Actually, the secret is you can be doing all these great things, but now it's good for your clients. But on the other hand, that you can't really expand without people knowing. It's like I was a community relations writer for 11 years, and I think I really learned to be an adept one, and I can tell you, Sharon. Don't let it go to her head, but I think she does an amazing job, because you can do all the good work. you want, but if you want to tell the people about it, you just, and you know, we're fortunate, we can badmouth the media,
Yeah.
and there are some things that bad about them, but the thing is, fortunately, the local media really provides as much space as they can.
Yeah.
You know, I worked at the Chronicle for several years. They can't provide as much space because they're a weekly weekly
Wednesday
newspaper.
to Wednesday.
So they can't be as generous as, but they certainly are generous. But like the Newport Daily, they have plenty of room to put your stuff, and that's where I see most of it. The
That's
New
it.
Orleans County Record,
Kent's really got behind us, the editor down there. One thing what Goldie said is about contacts. What I noticed when I first joined the meeting place and Northeast Kingdom Home Care is that these people already had the contacts. They were already doing the good work, but I noticed they needed acknowledgement for it. And the only area I excel is seeing people who've got qualities, and I know someone over there or a group over there that I can put them together with. So I guess I'm just a networker, really.
Yes.
These are the ones who are gold, like her name, Goldie. That's it.
You
She
know,
has the talent.
it's interesting for those of us who've lived here for either all of our lives or for many years. You get to know a lot of people too. It's like I was in a nursing home 2-3 years ago, and a person asked me, "Will you try to talk to such and such a person?" Because they knew I have a way with people with either dementia or some stroke, and he said he might talk a little nonsense. He said he has a habit of talking a little nonsense and not having things not come out. He said he talks about space a lot, and I said, well, he might not be talking at the right time about it, but he was an engineer at NASA. And that's how come, even though he might be talking, he might answer these questions with a kind of what seems like a nonsensical answer, but he was going back into his brain because that's what he did, so I always encourage people who work with, especially older people, especially people with dementia, is to try to find out from the family who these people were, and then because you can really build upon it by.
Yes.
I've had some of my greatest interviews with people who did not know what they had for breakfast, but they could go into great details about their years as a railroad engineer, and they could go detail by detail.
I like that.
I can't remember. I can remember what I did when I was 5 years old, but God forbid where I put my keys. Only 20 times a day. Okay, we only have about 7-8 more minutes left. What else would you like to talk about?
I have one question for you, Scott.
Yep.
We've been there since 2004. Had you heard of us before?
Yes, actually, I have. You've
We
yep, but
advertised with
yep,
you.
yeah, you advertise, but I also know Don. I know Jerry.
Okay.
So I'm not a good person to ask because I really am connected. I served in the state house, so I knew about it through that way because I think they've contacted me. So I'm not the best person, but I bet you there's a lot of viewers who have never heard of you until maybe the last few months.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, has that helped with bringing more people in?
We have been getting calls for home care, the home care side, from all over the country, and this has been the past 3 or 4 months. I don't know how the message is getting out there, but people have been thinking about having their parents come and talk to somebody at the meeting place because they're afraid of having them alone. And that's the beauty of this.
Actually, I've had people, because of their ad in the journal, is actually contact me to ask me. This is just to ask because, here's what people don't have to remember is there's a lot of people, because we're such a mobile society, there's a lot of people who are not stuck here, but living here, and their families have
Yes.
moved away.
Yeah.
And I have people contact me, whether it's that topic, but, or I have a lot of people do contact me from outside asking me about services in this area because their loved one does not want to up. Like if one of you, do any of your kids live away?
well, my granddaughter, and that broke my heart. She lives in South Royalton.
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't want to move there either,
No.
though.
No.
No, I live with my daughter and baby, and I'm happy there.
Yeah.
No, but I have never seen so many late 80s and 90
Yeah,
people in their 90s in this area. I had no idea there were that many people at that advanced age, and they're living productive.
Sure they are.
They're living alone, most of them. Some still drive. Occasionally, they just need somebody to check up on them to make sure that things are still working well for them. And that's where having a caregiver come in occasionally, a few times a week, maybe for a few hours, just to make sure that furnace is still working well, their medications are up to date, and they're not running out of things. Because as your mind ages, sometimes you forget things.
Now, I do know from interviewing a lot of people and even having some very stubborn older people in my life but Leah, you probably consider yourself a person who doesn't look for handouts. You wanted to live life on your terms, and there's a lot of people who don't want to avail themselves of services because they think it's...
I know now I worry about, gosh, I should be paying something for this. I guess Medicare is taking care of me. I don't know.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who don't...
I have no idea.
who always, there are people who really need the services, but they will say, oh, no, that somebody else needs it more. Give it
Yeah.
to them, because I'm not quite sure how old you are, but
71.
right, and so you grew up in a tough time.
Yep.
You weren't during the Depression, but you were still in some tough times in this area. And so a lot of older people think, well, if I survive those times, I can survive this.
Anything, yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I was only 15 when I got married, so.
and I thought I was young. I
Yeah.
was 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how can people contact your organization? Do you have a single number?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
And what is it?
Our number is 334-7604.
So they can learn about any aspect of your program by calling that number.
That's it,
Yes.
and we invite people in. They can stay an hour, see how the program goes, and it's not a program which is really rigid. It's a program based on people's energy levels and intellectual capacities, so we really tailor it to suit everybody. And I know Terry was saying that with the home care side of things, there are a lot of older people now, and after a storm or when there's been a disaster or some terrible weather, it's comforting to the families who live far away to know that their elderly loved one is being checked up on. But also the elderly loved one really needs to share special days like Thanksgiving or Easter occasions when something big's happened in the world. They want to speak about it with someone, and that's where this comes in so handy.
So how often do you have speakers in that?
Every week.
Yes.
Every week.
And we were honoured when you came down because you were, signed books, and
Yes.
it's brilliant. Thank you.
Well, I'll be this next year. I'm moving on to more books, so
Wow.
I'll go on back down. Of course.
Okay.
Now here's a question for you, Sharon. Is I know we know each other. You're from England.
Yep.
Do the way that people care for their seniors, is it different at all? Or?
You wouldn't believe it. It's terrible in England. I was actually there last week visiting my brother who is in a care home
Right.
because he had cerebral meningitis. And I spoke with the activities director there and I said, now, Brenda, how many activities a day do you have here? You've got 80 care clients. And she said, we have 2 activities a day. I said, ooh, what are they? And she said, well, one of them is lunch and the other is bingo.
Oh.
And I
see?
said, pardon?
Yes.
And it is not good enough. Here in America, what you've got going on in Vermont is pioneering. It's in line with what they have in Sweden. It's just more developed here. So I would have liked to have said something to Brenda, the activities director in England, but I was so astounded I just couldn't think of anything to say, and that's hard for me because I love talking. So
Well, with the exercise program that you have going,
that's
in
wonderful.
addition, based on the individual's abilities, there have been huge increases in mobility
yep.
Oh
and
my
flexibility.
God, I'm happy.
Yeah, as they say,
yes.
if you don't use it, you lose it.
Use it or lose it.
I was losing it.
Yeah.
Well, our clients, over the course of 8 weeks, did 60 hours of physical exercise, which enabled them to qualify for the Vermont State Board of Health certificate. So that every one of
I thought you were going to say the Vermont State Marathon.
No,
I was
that's
gonna say,
next
well,
year.
that's-
And even Goldie and I got one of these little qualifications. Goes, you did 60 hours of exercise, well done. So now we are Bronze Star level holders. And the Mayor, Paul Monette, actually signed certificates for us all last week for artistic and creative achievements. So people in the community want to recognise us for what our clients are achieving. I wouldn't say it's us, we work with the best quality material, and that's people like Leah Kittredge.
Okay, well, we've got to wrap up.
Thank you, Scott.
What are your final words?
Terry?
I want to say how very proud I am to be part of Northeast Kingdom Home Care and the meeting place. I've never met such a compassionate and caring group of people, and the talent is amazing. They outdo themselves almost every day, and I just would hope that people would call and find out how much better their lives could be by just coming a few days a week even.
I'm going to give Leah the final words, but I'm going to, so I'll jump over to you too. Either, any more words?
Goldie, Miss Buffy there.
Scott, thank you for having us on your show
Right.
and
Thanks.
letting people become aware of who we are and what we do, and certainly hope that they take advantage of our services that we provide.
And Sharon.
I'd like to say thank you as well, Scott. You've been one of our strongest supporters, and you are a compassionate fellow. I've seen how you've mixed with very elderly World War II veterans at your event at the Goodrich there earlier this year, so I know that it's in your heart too.
I love doing what I do.
You clearly do. Thank you, Scott.
But we're going to save the final words for Leah. And is this your first time on TV?
It sure is.
Oh, wonderful.
And what are your final words?
I was a nervous wreck.
Oh.
But thank you for having me. And the meeting place is a great place. The home care, is it?
Yes.
Is too,
But
but the meeting place is, Goldie says she loves me, and Sharon says she loves me.
everyone loves you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, well, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Scott.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you, Scott.
Yes.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.